So, speaking of Halloween, so when I was a child, I thought, I know, I'll read scary stories on the internet. Guess who didn't sleep for a month?
This guy. Yeah. I mean, wait, did you have the scary stories to tell in the dark? Like the book anthologies that had like the terrifying graphic image things in them?
I don't read.
Oh, not even those? Like Guillermo del Toro made them into a movie not that long ago.
I have a very small attention span, I don't read.
I could tell.
Rude!
I'll send you one of the illustrations from there later because, like, I used to see those a lot because my best friend had the books growing up because she was really into, like, you know, like witch stuff and just scary things and everything all the time. So we would, like, read those in the dark. We played Bloody Mary in front of the mirror,
I feel like every friend circle has the one who's into the supernatural, because I had a friend like that back in the day.
I mean, it was the 90s. Everybody had a Wiccan phase, I think.
I mean, mine was in the mid-2000s. I'm not that old.
Hey, man, it's coming back. All these Zoomers be listening to Fleetwood Mac and buying crystals. It never really left. It just got more commercialized.
So it's really funny. So my friend, she brings around these tarot cards one day and says, I can tell you the future with these. And she pulls out a card and she tries to make up symbolics. But my mum is like really into the supernatural. So she told me, don't touch those tarot cards. They absorb your soul energy. And I'm like, Mom, pieces of paper. I don't have a soul for one thing. I was born without one.
Oh, I don't know if that's entirely true, but whatever you have left is in the tarot cards, so you clearly have to get them back. Now it's like a heist movie.
I didn't touch them because, although I told myself I don't give a shit, I wasn't actually going to touch them.
Yeah. I mean, I would like the idea that like they're just this really innocuous pair of tarot cards where like they just have like fairies or unicorns or something on them.
Oh,
yeah, like the blue bird of despair says that you'll be fine eventually, but it's been inverted, so it means you're never gonna get better.
You will die alone, Jimmy.
Yeah,
I remember I went trick or treating with her once, and we knocked on this old lady's house, and she opens it and goes, "What?" And she goes, "Trick or treat," and she stares. And then my friend goes, "Trick or treat again," and the old lady just closes the door.
Oh, that's so mean. Well, okay, I wanted to ask you this because I kind of mentioned it to you before, but I don't know if Halloween is as big in the UK as it is over here, because clearly it's like a very big American holiday in terms of like the costumes and parties and hay rides and all that shit.
So, it's weirdly paradoxical in my mind. So, I don't really see a lot of decorations. People don't really seem to decorate a whole lot these days.
Because that's like the best part of it.
No. So when you go into shops, there are all these massive, giant, really scary decorations. Like, I was in like a B&M or something shit like that, and there were just these massive, like, 3-foot tall, like, ghost, like, mannequins.
Oh, yeah, had, like the animatronic things.
Yeah, it's like, who the fuck's buying these? I never see these outside of anyone's house. Could you just imagine going to a house and they just have, like, a whole garden just full of those?
Dude, those are actually kind of my favorite because Home Depot, which is a home improvement chain store in the States, they had this 12-foot skeleton that went out last Halloween. No, dude, it's fucking huge. It's this gigantic 12-foot skeleton that you basically just have to construct, and then you have to put stakes in its feet to keep it in the ground. And there is a house maybe about half a mile away from me where they just keep it out all year round, and then they put like Easter Bunny shit on it and St. Patrick's Day stuff on it. I was gonna say, I hope
they put a Christmas hat on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they had something for Valentine's Day. They had one for
These the reindeers.
No, yeah, they had 4th of July shit on them. It was great. It was like the whole thing is that like it's basically just like a giant paper doll that they can just keep.
Giant Santa brings joy to all.
Yeah, like they'll just give him like a big old like sack and everything and the giant beard, and it's like I love that commitment. Because I probably would have stolen it by now if it wasn't so obvious that you're trying to strap a 12-foot skeleton to the roof of your car. Because the whole thing just comes in like a giant fucking box, but you have to like assemble it when you get home.
It's flat packed like an IKEA.
Yeah, like IKEA.
Could you imagine being the kid that lives opposite that guy on the street? You just open your window, the giant skeleton staring at you.
No, I'd
be fucking horrified.
If it was me, I would fuck with them by like taping glow sticks on the inside of the eye sockets and just be like, put like soon at the top of
Hello,
his
Jimmy. I hope you sleep well.
Yeah, I would put if it was possible, I'd put some kind of mechanical thing to be able to make it talk and then have smoke coming out of the mouth. Like
the
that would
drama. Remember me.
Oh yeah. Like ancient sins, Billy. Like I would love that.
See, the idea of being able to decorate your garden's kind of mixed, because I'm like,
Yeah.
it looks really cool, but it's like saying to burglars, hey, I've got a shitload of disposable income, so come take my iPads. You know what I mean? Like, you're advertising shit.
We actually had an issue with that in my neighborhood last year, where that someone actually just kept going around to different neighbors' houses and just stealing their decorations out of their lawns. Like, they had done it about 4 times, to the point that there was a group Facebook thing that was just like, can somebody tell me who the fuck keeps taking all my goddamn decorations? They're like, I lost an inflatable black cat and 2 jack-o'-lanterns to this asshole, and I'm tired of this.
Oh, so me and Cosmo had a plan related to this.
Oh, yeah.
When we get a place, what we want to do is we want to get a lawn gnome, pop him in the front garden, put a computer chip inside him that tracks him.
Oh, sure.
Wait till he gets stolen, then track down whoever stole him, what garden he's in, and over time add more gnomes next to him. So he looks like he's multiplying in this person's garden.
Like he's just reproducing like a gremlin because he got wet, and now there's all these other gnomes just flooding their lawn.
You stole me, and now I will ruin your everything.
Yeah, then they just start descending on the house like cicadas.
No, what they're gonna do is they'll merge into one giant gnome, and that'll be upside down.
I would love
Replace
that.
the gnome with a giant skeleton gnome.
And then they start like just devouring the house like bit by bit. They're like, rum, rum, like just start with the chimney because that's always the best part.
It's like that episode of The Simpsons where Bart opens his curtains in the elephant's eye, but it's the gnome's eye.
Actually, the gnomes thing that happens in the first episode of Gravity Falls, which I will show you at some point because I think
I've seen that episode where he vomits the rainbows.
Oh yeah. That was like
the
outro ending thing. Yeah.
The outro is him vomiting just on loop.
Yeah, like just indefinitely, just vomiting.
Speaking of 12-foot tall people outside your window,
Yay!
What do you think of the Slendy Man?
Oh man, the Splendy Man.
Splendy Man? He's a Splendy Man.
The Splendor Man. No, I remember that.
I'm picturing him with a bow on his head.
No, that was
Man.
That was actually a spin-off of someone that had liked Slender Man. They made him the Splendor Man, and then they just went around like tap dancing and stuff. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. But I thought it was
reminds me
very
of
cute.
the sexy no face someone did.
Oh yeah, where it's just like No Face, just wearing like nylons, just like very cute.
Oh yeah, he's rocking those. Can we have Slender Man doing the same thing? Do you reckon he'd look good in some lingerie?
Yeah, I wish. But
He's showing off on calves.
yeah.
What do you think about it? Do you think he's scary? Is he? Because I used to think he was scary. I used to read about him all the time when I was a kid.
Oh,
and,
sure.
In the early Slenderman stuff, they said what he'd do is he'd poke his head through open windows.
Yeah, well, the reason I liked it was because I actually started watching a lot of those series back in the day, like on the YouTube ones, like Marble Hornets, Everyman Hybrid, and Tribe 12, I think was the other one. Because I really just like the creativity that they got into it, and it also just felt like you were watching a long-form serialized thing. And then I later saw a lot of people also doing speculation stuff online too, but I think I mostly just enjoyed it because the fact that he's just always like dressed to the nines and everyone's scared of him. I thought
He's
was
dapper
cool.
as fuck. He's got to show off his alpha radiation.
He's got to fit. Like I'm not gonna belittle. Like credit where credit is due. Whoever did his tailoring did a marvelous job. But I don't know, like, I always just like the fact that he's always next to wooded areas because I used to grow up next to a heavily wooded area, and a lot of my friends did too, so they'd just be like, oh, it's so spooky late at night. And it's like, yeah, it's true. But I mostly just like the creativity that came out of it up until, like, the Slender Man game thing happened, because that kind of ruined it for me.
Is that what it died for you, really, the game?
Well,
What wasn't the stabbing? The stabbing didn't ruin it first.
The stabbing didn't help, but I actually didn't learn about the stabbing until like much later because I was like, oh wow, this is a dead meme. Like that was my first thought, not like, oh, a teenager got stabbed by her supposed friends in the woods. Like no, I was just like, wow, that's a dead meme. Way to stay with
You
the
still like
times.
Slender Man? Normies.
Yeah, what are you, some kind of nerd? But no, like, yeah, the stabbing thing was just bizarre, like, I don't know, but it's not the first time that someone's tried to use some kind of weird fandom thing to justify violence, so I guess that didn't shock me as much.
This is my issue with public domain shit like Slenderman.
Yeah.
Like, people just add to them. But they add stupid bollocks like, oh, Slenderman's got a mansion in the woods that he brings all the little boys and girls to. And it's like, who the fuck added this?
I mean,
what does this add to his mythos?
Hasn't Hansel and Gretel already covered that market completely, and they did it 200 years earlier? Like, do we really need to have him have like a candy house or something?
You know how they say that you shouldn't explain the monster because it ruins the mystery? They've given out Slender Man's address. We know where he lives.
Yeah, we can now dock Slender Man. Like, where's the mystery now? He's just getting all his food and stuff ready in the morning, like he's just having a bowl of oatmeal and reading the paper and just be like, oh, another school shooting again. Well, time to get back to work. Dusts off his hat.
My list.
Kisses his slender wife and his slender son, and pets the slender dog, and then makes his way out.
Now, I was always confused about that suit. Do you reckon it's part of him, or do you reckon he's got a tailor? I'm just picturing him in, like, t-shirt and jeans, like, hey, can you, like, modify this so it's 12 feet tall?
I mean, my preferred thought for that is that it's just always, like, that's just his body, like how we've got skin and everything. Like, his body just looks like a suit, and it's always perfectly pressed, and he looks great. Where he never has an excuse to, like, you know, just, like, be slumming it wearing sweatpants or something.
I like to think he's, when he's not feeling good, he's wearing the sweatpants over the suit.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like, just the idea of Slender Man just, like, having these ginormous sweatpants that, like, he just had to, like, keep extending out infinitely because his legs are so goddamn long. Like, do you think he has, like, a really big sectional couch that he could fit on?
I reckon what he does is he sits in the bath and his knees come up to his head.
I would think that, like, his knees would probably go all the way up to, like, the pole that's actually in the, like, supporting the shower curtain thing. And he just keeps knocking it down. He's like, oh, damn it. He's like, I need to get one.
Why must I be so tall?
Yeah, I think half the appeal for Slender Man for me is just the idea of him trying to do stuff normally, but he's just too tall and he can't really do it that well.
See, you maybe just picture him in normal situations, like he's going through the grocery aisle, he looks over one of the shelves, and he reaches over it to grab some cola.
Yeah, like he basically gives a woman a heart attack because he's like, oh, that's where the pretzels are, and then she just sees this hand creeping over the aisle, like, oh my god!
White, just falls over.
Yeah, pretty much. But, like, in some ways it could be really beneficial. He never has trouble getting a cab. He always knows how to, like, find his way out if he's stuck in the woods. He's like, oh wait, hold on, I got this. He's like, oh, camp's over there, let's go. There's gotta be some
puts his
obvious...
head over the tree line.
No, yeah, because, like, there's gotta be some obvious benefits to being Slender Man, right? Like, realistically, he can probably never drown because, like, he's already got his little tentacles, so it's probably pretty easy for him to swim around.
They gave him tentacles. It's like he's a hentai monster now, is he? I'm sure that exists. I'm sure there's shitloads.
Oh,
of
that's most of the Rule 34 from what I remember. Not that I looked it up. But I did.
I was
going to
say, I like that you have a documented memory of the Slender Man Rule 34 page.
No, it's just like Slender Man at a very pivotal time in my college years was involved in some memories. So, but no.
He was key to my sexual development.
No, I did not have a sexual awakening to Slender Man. Stop telling people that.
Oh, Slendy.
But no, like, I don't know. I think out of all the new folklore stuff that we have, like, I like Slender Man and I like where he's going with it, but the,
Is he going anywhere? But he was done. I thought we were done with Slender.
I mean, I guess he's done. Yeah, like, you don't want to, like, go to a horror convention. Slender Man's just at one of those little booths waiting for people to come up to get his headshot, and he's just, like, really just kind of bored. Yeah, there's... Like, does he have an interpreter with him? Like, someone that can understand Slender Man and then just talk for him? I don't know. He's like...
This is the thing with creepypasta characters. They always seem to get weirdly sexualized, and I don't know why this is.
I would just chalk it up to there's a lot of sexually repressed people on the internet, and they just choose to start making them into waifus, which is really not great, because most of them are homicidal maniacs, or have at least some kind of psychopathic tendencies, which is... And, you know, like, value yourself better, guys. Like, don't always go for those kinds of people.
Because it's like, you start off with, here's Jeff the Killer, his head looks like a potato.
Yeah.
Very distinctly unattractive. And then they turn him into just this boy band, like J-pop star or something, with a bit of guy liner on.
Yeah, like, slap it on a body pillow. Yeah, they'll buy it. Like,
Have you read his story? It's like the worst fucking thing. I remember thinking that was the best shit when I was 16, and now I'm like, this is literally dog shit.
I think it was just like, I felt at that point that I was just like either too old for creepypastas, or I just plain old didn't understand what they were trying to do, and I was like, this isn't...
What are these newfangled kids reading?
Oh, I mean, I didn't think that they were creepy. Like, I just didn't think that they were creepy. I just thought that, like, wow, this is really poorly written. Like, I was like, even for fan fiction, this is kind of shitty.
they read, like, anime fights when he's fighting the bullies, just none of the parents get involved. No one does anything. Jeff just, it's like, Jeff stopped his heart with a single punch.
Yeah,
and it's like, you can picture the anime battle.
Honestly, I would love to see a Dragon Ball Z version of Slender Man versus Jeff the Killer. Like, I think that'd be great. Like, they both start charging up, that'd be sick.
Someone wrote a fan fiction that was like Jeff versus Slender Man, and it reads exactly like a Dragon Ball Z fight, where Slender Man picks up Jeff and spikes him onto a tree branch.
That sucks, man. No.
So you got the spooky man. He's scary because he stands in the distance, and what's he gonna do? When he actually starts doing shit, you're like, I'm bored now. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think that there's a whole lot of They never really, at least a lot of the creepypasta things I saw, it's like they just kind of like exist. Whatever their backstory is usually like very limited, so then people are more likely to just start making brazen assumptions or start like self-inserting their own mythos because they're like, that's not complex enough. I want more of a reason to find him like hot. Or like, I want to have a reason to lust after this person. Even when it's like, okay, his name is Jeff the Killer. He patently kills. It's like, if you're trying to fuck Ted Bundy, that's your problem because he's killed 35 women, at least.
And he's fucked dead bodies.
And he'll do it again.
Imagine thinking the penis that's been inside you has also been inside a dead body. That's not a fun feeling.
No, yeah, even with safe sex, I can't reconcile that. That's gross. I mean,
I like that you considered it for a second. You're like, maybe.
Well, I mean, it was the 80s, so they were trying to practice. No. We're not getting into that. But no, like, just imagine, like, the idea of, like, just, like, just being, you know, like, you're a teen girl in the mid-80s, and you see this, like, this roguish character of a Ted Bundy type just being like, yeah, I've killed 35 women, and you're like, I can change him. No, you can't.
My vagina quivers.
You cannot change him. Like, you don't see John Wayne Gacy having a whole bunch of stands like, John, I love your paintings. Could I commission you, like, riding on top of a horse like Lady Godiva dressed as a clown? It's like, well, yeah, I guess so. I could do that.